everybody. Welcome back to the For the Gambia podcast. I'm your host, Pasiri Nseka. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have another Gambian today, a dynamic lady by the name of Fatoumata Touma Njie. She is the National Assembly member for Banjul South. Without taking too much time, I will go ahead and introduce my guest today. Honorable Njie, welcome to the For the Gambia podcast.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seka. It's nice talking to you today. After listening to your program for so long, I'm really honored to have been invited today. Thank you.
All right. I am excited as well. I know you have a very rich background. We would just like you to kind of touch a little bit on that. Tell us who you are, where you're from, family, some of the schools that you've attended, childhood days, and all of those things.
Oh, thank you very much. I think I will start with my wonderful childhood memories in Banjul South. I'm a 100% Banjul South product, raised in Denton. My mom lived in Denton, which is in Jollof Town. My mom lived in Hafdai, and my dad lived in Portuguese Town. So that's why I always say I'm 100% Banjul South product. I went to a school in Banjul South, KG, which was a convent. It was one of the best schools then, and I would hope and pray that our school go back to those memorable years. And then I proceeded to Gambia High School, where I took my GCE O-levels in the art subjects. And then I went to the UK to do my A-levels and then proceeded to the University of Kent. I read politics and international relations, not knowing that I would eventually go into politics after 20-something years. But what I read at university has been really helpful because I studied international relations, basically how to deal with interpersonal, international aspects of life. So I think it's giving me a really strong foundation in what I'm doing today. And then I've worked in various institutions. In the Gambia, I started at the Social Security as their public relations officer, and then I proceeded to the GRTS as their marketing manager. I worked at the Trust Bank, and then I also worked at Bank PHP as a group head in public sector. So I've worked with government really not directly but indirectly in the bank. And then I proceeded to work at the Ministry of Trade. I worked there for a year. That had given me a glimpse of what government does, which I think is also a good foundation in what I do today. And then after having my 3 kids, to show you that it is never too late to develop yourself, I proceeded and did my MBA in strategic planning. I also have Prince 2, which is a project management professional qualification. So I think, I'm not saying I have what it takes, but I have a foundation of what it takes to help rebuild Banjul South. Thank you.
All right, that was quite impressive. I am really proud to hear all of these accomplishments that you've had. It's very impressive.
It's never that. I keep telling the youths, I had my master's at the age I was over 40.
Wow.
So it's never too late.
That's right.
I had 3 kids, and then I took the challenge. So that's why I keep telling the youths, don't give up.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Exactly.
I was there with my 3 children, struggling, studying, taking care of them, but I managed to just make it.
That's great. I am really proud of that. So it looks like from your studies in which you studied international politics or international relations, but it wasn't something that you used right away. You went right into the business world and you've gained some expertise over there. How has that helped you in your campaign? You know, knowing that you have this business background, but also you have some expertise in international relations. How did that help you to get you to where you are right now?
I think with all that experience and the exposure, it builds up your confidence. Because everybody who knows me growing up as a child, I've always been a shy person. That's why some of the people that knew me from childhood were really surprised that I went into politics, because I wasn't that type of person. But I think from growing up in the business world, probably in the bank as a banker, and in banking you have to be a marketer, so you need to really build up your interpersonal relation skills. And I think that really helps in my campaign, because you can go up to any level to talk to anybody, and then you can go down as low as the ground to talk to anybody. So I think that really made the breakthrough for me.
Oh, that's great. Something that I did not hear you talk about during your introduction, and I know you're just being humbled, but from the research that I've done about you, it seems like you're from the Alhaji Modou Musa Njie family. Am I right?
Yes, that is right. But I think it is best. Yes, it is good, because coming from a good family makes you strong. But it can also break you.
Yes.
Because if you are not mindful and you go on with the flow, you can come with heavy head, which is something, if everybody knows me, I don't carry my family name along. I would rather be just a humble me.
Oh, that's great. But also, getting in politics, it's not something that is new to you. I have heard that your dad was in politics as well. So this is not something new to you.
My dad wasn't actively in politics. Yes, he was a nominated member of parliament up to 1994. He probably would help his friends or family, because obviously we are from a political family. I cannot deny that. But he wasn't active in politics until he was nominated as an MP in the 1990s, up until 1994.
So do you think that has has that had any effect on you in terms of, wanting to run? Because your dad did it before?
No, it did not make me want to run, but it has a great impact, because I knew what it took as early as probably even when I was 6-7 years old, because I remembered during elections, I would remember them driving to and from Basse. Because those wonderful years, it was the ministers who would run for MPs as well. They were the members of parliament. So they would run for elections to be elected. If you don't win, then you wouldn't be a minister, and obviously you wouldn't be an MP. And I miss those wonderful years, and I wish we could go back to those years. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I remember those days. It did not make me want to go to politics. The reason I went into politics is because not of the inequality, but the lack of equity in our system. You can be given the same rights, but if we don't have the same starting point, we will never finish at the same level. That is what really brought me into politics. I wanted every Gambian child, whether you are from a rich or from a poor background, to have the best. And we cannot do that if we do not intervene. We cannot do that if we do not fight for every single Gambian citizen. That is what brought me into politics, because I want to see every Gambian child finish school,
yes,
and then just go to university automatically.
Wow.
You can send, it's not because you are a son or a daughter of so and so. You just finish high school and then you are sent abroad. That is something that I don't want to see in the vision of the Gambia that I want.
Wow, that's quite impressive. So now we'll talk about Banjul South. We saw during the campaign, you guys were led by this team Tahawal Banjul, including our friend Mustafa Njie Taf, Dr. Aliou Gueye, and so many other people. How did that all came about? How were you approached? How did the whole process go?
They never approached me. In fact, it's good that you touched Team Tahawal Banjul, because I want to clarify the issue of Team Tahawal Banjul to the whole world. If you know me, you know Taf, we've been very close. It's not because his daughter is married to my brother, no. We've been close since time immemorial. Because Taf's mother, Yabayan, is one of my dad's closest sister and friend. In fact, when I was in school, when I'm hungry, I will just cross and I'll go to her and I'll eat to my heart's desire. Even my friends would go. So that is how close we are to that family. And can you imagine, he is a brother to me, not an in-law. So when I approached him myself. I told him I wanted to run. And then he snubbed me because he knew what they were planning. And he wanted to be fair. He did not want to give me any special treatment. So he said to me, yo, tell me again this. Yeah, come ting adi. And when I came back, I was like, my brother. How is he talking? Why is he talking to me like that? He should be helping me. And then it was when I heard about Tintawal Banjul that I said, wow, this man is honorable. He doesn't want to give me special treatment. He wants to treat me the same as any other person who wants to run. That is what Tintawal Banjul stands for. Nobody is given any preferential treatment. And then I went to Dr. Gay, who's also a friend of mine. I said, Doctor, I want to run. He said, you've been politician. Can you imagine? So if people say that they reached out to us, it is a lie. So what they did was to publish. In fact, the first meeting was moved to 3 weeks later so that they can send the notice to the media in the whole of Banjul so that everybody can know that this is what is happening. So they moved it back three weeks to make sure that everybody knows. They invited every political party but APRC, and we all knew why. Because you wouldn't want, a gun, a finger that is coming, the mouth that is coming to bite you, you wouldn't put your hand in that mouth, would you?
That's right.
That was why they invited all political parties. And then we went for primaries. They told us the criteria, and then I went on. Fortunately for me, nobody came to contest against me. So, but when we went to the elections proper, I ran against 4 other people. And I got 58% of the votes.
Wow.
Which is an absolute majority.
Yes.
And it wasn't easy because I knocked into each and every single door in Banjul South. And I did that personally. People will say, oh, you are going to win. Your father so and so. I said, I want to win because of me. Not because of what somebody did ages ago. Let us see the new Gambia. Let's look at me and vote for me. For the things that I'm going to do for you. Not for what somebody has done. Because we need change. We need a new Gambia. So I visited every single household in the Banjul South. And that was done throughout the campaign period. Every day from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the night, I'll be out in the streets. And my brother was very, very, very helpful. Modu Musa. He was my anchor and my rock in that campaign. And he never gave up.
Oh, that's great.
He was there with me all the.
All right. Well, that's great. But
he was never tired.
Yeah, for some of us whose history of Banjul is not very good, my history of Banjul is kind of hazy. If we talk about Banjul South, what part of Banjul is Banjul South? I've never stayed in Banjul. I'm from Serekunda, so.
Banjul South, don't quote me, but people from Banjul South feel so special about Banjul. Banjul South is from the ports.
Yes.
The ports of Hafdai.
Yes. And
previously it was up to Grand Street. But when they sold part of the ports, when they sold part of the end of Banjul South from the port, it was extended up to Allen Street, the first part of Allen Street. So that is Banjul South, and it's divided into 3 wards. From the ports to some parts of Hagan Street, that is Hafdai. And then from there, all the way to Kent Street, that is Jollof Town.
Okay.
And then the rest is Portuguese Town from Hagan, Picton, and those sides. That's Jollof Town. So that is what Banjul South constitutes.
Oh, okay. Well, And I would say that some part of my history is Banjul South because my aunt stays over there, which is Dr. Gay's mom, and my mom was born in Zebra, and I'm not sure whether Zebra is in Banjul South or not. I would think, and I don't even know if they still have the street name there or not. Do you know?
They changed all the names, but
Oh,
Zebra is
okay.
in Banjul South.
Oh, it's in Banjul South. Okay, great. All right. So,
I was cutting.
yeah. So, you were running under the PPP ticket. Can you tell us why?
Yeah. Because the PPP and the UDP, there is not much difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because the UDP was formed by previous PPP, NCP, and all those people when those parties were bad. So I see them as cousins. But the fact that I knew the UDP is a majority. And when you go somewhere, you need to go and make a difference.
Yes.
In every democracy, there must be a strong opposition.
Yes.
And I saw myself as a pillar that can make the difference, being a strong part of the opposition. So that was why. But I'm in support of the UDP 100%. But I'm a PPP in heart.
Okay. All right.
If you know me, I was born and bred. I'm a born and bred PPP.
All
That
right.
cannot be taken from my blood.
Yes.
Sadauda and my grandmother, my mom's mom, they are the same mom and the same dad. That did not take me to PPP. But I believe that they were unjustly removed from power and they had an unfinished business, which I think I will do, which I think we will bring back.
Right.
If you look at the PPP elites, they are all highly educated. During the PPP era, our education was one of the best in the region. And I feel we can bring that back.
All right. Well, so right after the elections, now you are nominated now as a National Assembly member.
I am elected. I'm not nominated. I'm elected by the people.
Okay, what's the difference?
Nominated members are nominated by His Excellency the President.
Okay, good. I'm very glad.
I
you
always
explained that.
advocate. I'm a Democrat.
Yes.
I believe in being elected, not nominated.
Ah,
For me, the purpose that we have nominated members is not what we are practicing. Because the purpose of nominated members was to represent the side of society that cannot run. Because politics can be costly. For example, the youths, vulnerable women, and some other sectors that cannot run and be elected. That is the purpose of nominated members. But what we exercise, and that has been since the first regime, is that the president would nominate people who would be sympathetic towards his views.
Yes.
And that has been it is not just this government, or it is not just the Jammeh government, it has been since the first regime. And obviously that is politics. If you give somebody powers, obviously they will abuse them. And if you ask them to nominate, nominated members should have been made by the elected members themselves, who would look into this, like the youth group, the women group, and then ask them to nominate their representative in parliament. I see that as more democratic than what is being practiced. That is my belief.
All right, that sounds great. So before we get into some of the bills that you guys have over there and those kind of things, can you just give me a rundown of the day-to-day activities of a National Assembly member? Like when you go in at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, how does the day start and how does it end? What are the things that you guys do?
It is statutory that we sit from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock. And if we have to sit beyond 1, half an hour before that, somebody must move the motion that we sit beyond 1. And if it is approved, then we can sit beyond 1. But it should be from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. But obviously, everybody knows that we sit beyond 1 because for the past last week, we've been sitting up until 8 o'clock at times in the night. I wouldn't say, because we are still learning the ropes. We've come from a deep hole, and we still believe that the executive should call the shot. And that is what I always advocate. that National Assembly members are stronger than the executive. The executive cannot do anything without it being approved by the National Assembly member, and that is how it should be. And the National Assembly members also need to lean on the executive to be able to make sure that what they have passed in Parliament are properly implemented and are also properly applied and properly interpreted by the judiciary. So all three arms of government must work. What we forget is the fourth, what I call the fourth arm, which is the people, which is you and I. Mm-hmm. When I'm not in the assembly, I am a normal citizen. Mm-hmm. And my needs, my wants, what are they? I need to have good roads. I need good schools. I need electricity, for example, which we all see as luxury now. And how are we going to make sure we have those? By making sure our voices are heard so that Parliament can fight for them and ask them where the monies we have, where they are put in, or how they are utilized. So all I say, we have four arms. I will not shy away from the citizens who voted me in, because without their feedback, I wouldn't know what to take to Parliament. For me, I go to Parliament in the morning, and every word I utter in Parliament does not come from Touma Njie personally. It comes from my electorate. Whatever they want me to say, we discuss. If I cannot convince them to change their mind, then it means that I have to say what they want me to say. For example, I spoke about the office of the First Lady. I'm not against the First Lady, of course. She's my niece, and I love her. But in the Constitution, there is no such thing as the office of the First Lady. So when the budget allocated monies for the office of the First Lady, I had to respect it. We are governed by a Constitution, so we must follow what the Constitution says. If we need to change something, it must be brought to Parliament, and it must be voted for or against. And if it's not right by our people, I will always vote against something that I know is not going to benefit my people. Just like I voted because they brought the payment of the commissioners, an additional 500,000 each. I voted against. It's not that they shouldn't be paid. They should be paid. But my question was how? Where should that money come from?
Yes.
Are they more? Should it come from taxpayers, or are their payments more important than pumping those milk? Even though if it's just a little amount of money, it can still go to our schools. It can still go to our education system, because my belief is that yes, the commission is very important because it is very revealing. But as of yet, it is only revealing. It is only mere figures that we are being given. Are we going to recover? It is another matter. If we can recover, then fine. We pay them a percentage of what we've recovered, because it will not be another loss to our taxpayers. That was my concern, and that was why I voted no. Not because they don't deserve payment, no. They do deserve payment, because every job seeker seeks a job for a payment.
Yes.
But then how? And I think the 300,000 they were initially paid, I think, for me working for my country, I'm not sure, but I think that some people are not paid 300,000 per annum. And that is only for 3 months. That was only for 3 months. Wow. And an additional 500,000 for an extra 6 months, I thought, and I knew it could have been taken to schools. Because as I'm talking to you now, the schools are yet to receive textbooks. That was my concern. For me, it's just what is good for my country. Not me personally, because if it was my interest, I would have been at home with my cozy job and not get into politics.
Wow. Well, we're just really proud of people like you there, representing the interests of the people and not just your own interests or the interests of your party or the interests of the executive. So on that note, we are really, really proud of the job that you do.
A National Assembly member, yes, it's a politician. But the party flag is only during the elections. That is how it is made. Because if I go to Banjul, I don't go and knock on doors and say, are you PPP?
Right.
I have to sort out the issues each and every individual, irrespective of your party. So once you are a National Assembly member, that overrides the party issue.
That's right.
So it is no more a PPP issue.
Right.
Yes, I belong to the PPP. I support them and I'll be there for them. But the national interest comes first and foremost. And that is what PPP teaches us. If you follow OJ, that is what he keeps saying.
Mm-hmm.
National interest before party interest.
That's right.
And that is what we must follow. If your party leader believes in something, you have to help him hold on to that belief.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, now I just want us to move a little bit now to Banjul, which is the capital of the Gambia. Whether you're from Banjul or not, it really doesn't matter. It is the capital. We've seen how conditions have deteriorated a lot, all these years. Like Banjul just doesn't look like a city, So what is it that can be done to revive Banjul again? Or even to make it better than what it used to be, because it is the capital.
It is the capital. And I was very happy when His Excellency the President came to Banjul and said Banjul is a priority. And of recent, he's also said it again, and I have hope. And I've been told, I don't know him very well, but I've been told by people who knows him that he's a man of his words. And we believe that we will build a relation and we will make Banjul, bring back the glory in Banjul, because Banjul has been neglected. Nothing has been done since independence in Banjul.
Yep.
And I think we need to revisit that. We will not stop. We will continue reminding him, giving him gentle reminders, because obviously he's the president. You cannot push him, but we can keep asking. We are not begging for it because it is our right. One's right should be given.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen how the former president diverted funds and developed Kanilai. So it means we've had all those monies that are pumped into this country and they've been mismanaged. The misappropriation of funds has been too much, and we are not going to let that happen. We are not going to keep our eyes closed. What is due for Banjul will come to Banjul. And I would want to work with my fellow National Assembly members to make sure that we come up with a Banjul bill that will make sure that there is an appropriation in the budget. It might not be for this year because it might be too soon. But we need to look at what we need. Probably even send it to donors and have a little bit of what comes in to be diverted to Banjul. Banjul is a capital. And it is the worst capital city I've ever been to in this world. And mind you, I've seen many.
Wow. So what do you think the civil society can do? Like you, me, and, the rest of the folks out there. What is it that we can do?
When it comes to, because what Banjul needs is not monies that you and I can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we need to do is just the support. It cannot be financial, but morally, to give us hope. And we have technicians. You might know of technocrats who can give us strategies, who can draw plans. I think we must come up with a think tank for Banjul so that we can come up with ideas, because everybody has their own expertise. That is what the civil society can do for Banjul. But when it comes to financial terms, this is a big project. We are talking of millions.
Yes.
So I think it is the technical side that we can do as a civil society. Come up with ideas, projects, proposals, so that we can send them, because there are also donors all over the world.
That's true.
And Banjul is the limelight now. Everybody is interested. Everybody wants to help us. We've had so many trainings, capacity building. Maybe they can do that, but we also have people who can pump in monies. I think that is what we need, helping to identify, helping to guide us, knocking doors here and there, giving us proposals. That is what civil society can do in terms of assistance.
That's right. So on a more practical side, we've seen the way Banjul is and the way it is set up. It has all these family compounds. And I mean, these family compounds are like big compounds shared by almost 30 to 40 to 50 people. And these houses are deteriorating rapidly. but it's going to be hard to sell that compound, so that it can be, renovated again. Somebody can, set up a business over there and all of these things. I mean, how do you think we need to go about these big family compounds that are there that nobody is developing because it is shared by 50 people? How do we need to go about those kind of things in order to develop Gambia, in order for things to start moving again?
That's a really tough nut to crack.
Yes.
But I think it all depends on the matter. It's a matter of approach. Obviously, I have a house. I cannot live.
Yes.
I cannot rent. If you come with the right approach, obviously with a good plan, with a good deal, some of them it is best for you to just take it and then move on. Most of these people, they have their own homes because obviously they were brought up there, they were born there, brought up there. Now they are adults, they have their jobs, they have their own homes. Not everybody have their own home, but some of them depend on those meager resources that come from those family properties. But if the government comes with the right approach, and also it is in our constitution that the government can buy properties if it is necessary. If it is necessary for the development, then of course we cannot build Banjul and then jump one house because those people, the owners, do not want to sell. If we are developing, it has to be developed as a wholesome. In that case, I'm not saying that people will be forced, but it is part of our law. If need be, and if proper compensation is given, nobody would. Obviously, I wouldn't say no to something that will benefit me.
Yes.
It is just interest. But if it's not to my best interest, so I think the government needs to come with a very good plan, a very good proposal, and then propose it to them.
That's right. Now, two things that I know that you are very passionate about, and you've even touched on it just a little bit, is women's rights and childhood education. Can you touch a little bit on those things? Because I know it's something very, very important to you.
Very, very important to me. I think those are the two things that really drag me into politics. In fact, if you go to my website, I've not formally launched, not officially, but it's live. I've started a program.
Maybe you can give us the name?
Yeah, yaidentin.org.
Okay.
Yaidentin.org.
Okay, great.
And it's for youth and vulnerable women. I did not specifically say women, but I say vulnerable people because there might be some others who might not fall into the category of women, but who might also be needy. And they, so that's why I just left it. But I'm focusing more on women and kids, youths, and women especially. Those are my those are my weakest links because I feel they've been cheated. For example, in Gambia, women do not have, yes, there are rights in the law, but because of our culture, we cannot exercise those rights. A woman can be married 20 years, 15 years, 30 years, 5 children, and obviously, if you are married for that long, even if you don't work, you would have made a little contribution towards the household, towards even building the house. And then one day you just wake up, packed and kicked out of the house. Those are the things that we need to make sure that they are stopped in this country. For example, I was reading the Constitution as well. It says education is free and compulsory to basic. What is basic education? Up to primary 6? Or is it up to grade 9? It should be specified. Is it lower basic or upper basic? Because I feel that our children should be given at least, if not to grade 12, to grade 9, where they can have a piece of paper that they can work out with should they need some form of employment. And that's why I have that weakness in children. Whenever I go out and see a child during school hours and you are school going age, I always have to stop you and ask you what you are doing in the street. Because they shouldn't be out in the street. They should be in school.
Wow. I mean, just for the folks to know, the website is Yai Denton. It's spelled Yayai
YAYI
dash
Denton
DENTON.
TON.org.
Okay.
And it was named after Yai Denton. I have to say this because I was brought up by my wonderful grandmother. She was my rock. She was my life basically. And she was there with other 3 co-wives. All 4 wives lived in one house and we lived happily. So that's why I named it Yai Denton on behalf of all 4 of them.
Wow. Now, one thing that caused a lot of frenzy on social media was when there was a presentation of 57 vehicles to the National Assembly members. You know, everybody down here was kind of complaining, why should that be done, you know, and those kind of things. What was your take on all of that?
My take? You know, we are National Assembly members.
Yes.
Maybe the presentation was, but they did not give it to Touma Njie. They did not give it to, I don't know the names of other National Assembly members. I don't want to name names.
Yes.
But they gave it to the office.
And
if I deny those vehicles, then it means I've denied my responsibilities. Like yesterday, we had, on Saturday, we had things that we had to distribute in my constituent. And my constituent were using that car. It is given to the constituent and the officer in charge of the constituent. If the Banjul South people decide to vote me out of office today, I would walk out with my bag and not the vehicle. So it's not mine.
so these are official vehicles, not personal vehicles.
These are official vehicles, not personal vehicles, and they are registered, insured under the National Assembly. So they are the properties of the National Assembly.
Okay.
We have officers in other offices using their official cars, don't they?
Now,
so that's what you should understand.
One thing I want to ask you, I know this is, I'm not sure whether you've been asked this before or not, but after listening to you for the past half hour or so, there's this proposal that I want to put out there. Do you think that Gambia is ready for a female president?
I think the female population in this country are bolder than the male. I think, with all due respect, I feel we are more than ready for a female president. Because even if you go to campaigns, I would quote Malala. She said, why should we stand in front of the parliament cheering if we can go in and contribute? Why should we be the cheerleaders if we can be cheered? You don't hear about Papi Compin, you hear about Yai Compins.
Yes.
Huh? You hear about Yai Compins. And these Yai Compins, they are the ones who empower those males. The only fact that would undermine female coming out is because of the lack of exposure that are denied to the majority of them. Because when you talk about the female, you don't talk about the few privileged. We have to include everybody. Even from birth, when you have a son and a daughter, you said, oh, breastfeed your son for 2 years. But breastfeed your daughter for just 1 year. Why should that be?
That's right.
If you send them to school and there's only one school fees, the daughter will drop out.
Yes.
And that will prevent them. So in that sense, I can say, are we ready? But that shouldn't stop us. Look at Liberia.
Yes.
The president has been the best in the region.
Yes.
So why should we not be ready?
All right. Another proposal. Do you have it in your plans to one day run for president of the Gambia? I personally think you have what it takes, and I would love to see it.
I'm not a politician.
Yes, but you don't have to be a politician.
I never planned.
Right.
Be an MP.
Yes.
But it is not in my plans to run for president. I'm thinking an MP, make sure that things happen, and then I move on. But only God knows. But I've not thought about it. And I think right now we have the president that I will support, that I will do everything for.
But we've had like back-to-back female vice presidents, from Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi now to Fatoumata Touma Njie, and I just don't want to see it stop there. I want to see the next step be taken, and give the ladies a chance and see what they can do, because we've seen most households are run by women in Gambia. I myself, I was raised by my mom, and I did not turn out to be too bad. So I just think that most of these ladies out there, if we give them a chance, I'm pretty sure Gambia will be a much better place, because women. To
be honest with you, I think a female president is the best thing that can happen.
Yes.
In this country.
Yes.
That is my take, but that doesn't mean I have any intent or I have anybody in mind. But I think a female, because what happens, the situation we are in now, females are more empathetic.
Yes.
Towards the condition that we are in. A mother would want to see their children well educated. A mother would want to see their child treated when they are ill. A mother would want to see their children living in a better condition. So I think we need to bring them on board.
Without a doubt. I'm going to start I am going to start that campaign to get a woman elected in the Gambia. I am just very hopeful that, with women like you, and I will go as far as telling you that I will give you my vote. I will give you my vote if you stand, without a doubt.
One thing I know, I am not afraid of anything or anybody. If everybody that knows me knows that I only fear the Almighty. I respect everybody, and I respect people unconditionally until you prove otherwise. I can be very crude if I want to. I can be very gentle, very kind if I want to. But, and that is across the board, I treat everybody equally. I've worked in many places. The MD, I treat him the same way I treat the cleaner.
Yes.
Because we are all given offer letters. That's what I always tell them.
That's right.
You are given an offer letter to do this job. I was given an offer letter to do this job. So we are equally employed. And that is how I want our leaders to be.
That's right.
Sometimes I get frustrated. I always say it in Parliament. I've seen some appointments and I shake my head. I'm like, I just hope I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
I want to see a different Gambia. We fought for a different Gambia. I never involved myself in politics until last year in June, when there were many arrests. I was like, I will not keep quiet. My friends thought I wasn't in the Gambia. I was writing on Facebook, left, right, and center. If I was killed, I wouldn't have been the first person.
Yes.
If I was arrested, I wouldn't have been the first. So why should I keep quiet? So that was the first I got myself involved in making comments on Facebook. Because I hated Yaya Jammeh with passion. So I'm like, I think we mustn't breed another tyrant.
Yes.
We mustn't allow that. We have a good person, humble, respectful, but we can change that, and we don't want that happening.
That is true. I mean, we've had a conversation with your friend Njie, and he said the same thing, that we created Yaya Jammeh. How do you think we should go about with President Barrow and not make him another Yaya Jammeh? I know he's not like that, but we have to be careful.
He's not like that, but that is not guaranteed. We have to respect him.
Yes.
Because what I'm seeing, some comments I'm seeing being made about him are wrong. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't question him. Questioning him is a must because he is our servant.
Yes.
We have to question every step that he takes, but with respect. He is our leader. We must respect that fact that he is our president. He is our leader. Sometimes I see some comments. Our political party leaders are our leaders, irrespective of which party they belong. Hussein Udabo is a leader. Ahmad Ba is a leader. Oje is a leader. Halifa is a leader. Mama Kande is a leader. we have to give them that due respect. Otherwise, if we become leaders ourselves, do we expect people to respect us? No. It's even in the home. I have a 9-year-old. When I do certain things, he looks at me because then he will start doing them.
Yeah.
They are our role models, but we also need to bring them. Power can corrupt.
Yes.
That's why we have to keep them at watch. That's why we have to respect the separation of powers.
Yes.
Every step that they take, we have to question.
Yes. Wow.
And you people also need to question us. That's how it goes. But with respect.
What has been your, if I was to ask you to give me a report card from the time that you've started until now, how would it look like?
To be honest with you, out of 10, I've not reached 5 yet.
Wow.
Because everything that I want to do, I've not done yet. My program has been delayed. I wanted to open a library in August in Banjul South. I've purchased all the books, but I've been saving my salary to purchase all the books. I've gotten all the books, I've written to the banks and they have pledged computers. But that is why I am appealing to everybody to make sure they vote for the best mayor, the best councillors. Because without them working with us, we cannot fulfill our obligations to our constituents. It will be very difficult. It is because of the councillor of Jollof Town. He's refused to hand over the premises that the library was supposed to be run. And up until now, these books are in boxes in my home, in the living room.
Wow.
So I've not achieved that. But fortunately, I have set up a scholarship fund, and we'll be sponsoring 10 students from across Banjul, starting from this term. At least, that's why I said not 5, but at least I've achieved 1 or 2. Because that is my main objective, to make sure that smart kids, whom otherwise, if you don't help them, they wouldn't be able to go to school.
Yes.
So we've assessed, we've interviewed, and it's independent of me. I don't have to select anybody. It's a committee. They they send the forms to the schools identified. We call them for interviews, and the report is going to be sent to me by the end of this week, and then we'll start sponsoring them. And that is coming from my foundation.
Wow, that is quite impressive. And about this library and about these books, that is just something that is so badly needed in the Gambia. I mean,
no, the library is something. It's my baby.
Yes.
And I'll be running it personally. I'll be going there every single day and every weekend.
Well, great.
To make sure that I identify the needs of the children and try to help them, because I love books.
Yes.
I started reading as early as 2 years old, and thanks to, I don't know whether you know, I have to name this lady, Choro Job.
Is she in North Carolina here?
No, Choro, I think she was named after that lady.
Okay, because we have a Choro Job in North Carolina.
Yeah, she was named after her.
Okay.
She taught me how to read as early as 2 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, and she taught me up to primary 6 at home. She was coming to my house to teach me up to primary 6. So I have to also mention that, because she is one of the people who really helped me, because I was never a smart kid. I was never good in school. I have to say that.
Right.
So that is what I want to avoid, because I know the children we can bring out the best in them if we give them the opportunity.
Yes.
I want them to be reading. I want to give every Banjul child at least 1 hour of internet a day.
Yes.
We want to expose them to the world.
Yes. Not just to be on Facebook only. You know,
that's why when I say I've been quiet on the mayor or on the councillor, but when the time comes, I will look out for the best that I can work with. And I'm appealing to Banjul people to go for those people, because of these problems. We want to avoid these kind of things. This project would have been kick-started since August, and these children would have been enjoying their books and their computers by now. But it's not happening because of the Jollof Town councillor. He's refused.
Well, we over here, we will try to do as much as we can. I am a big advocate of early childhood reading myself, and I recently sent over close to 300 books to the Gambia myself to distribute to some of these kids so that they can engage in early childhood reading. So I'll be very happy to work with you on that on my side over here, and I know a lot of people here too who are very passionate about that. So that we will try to do whatever we can to make it happen, without a doubt.
It has to happen because for me, if this doesn't happen, I would call myself a failure.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's why I said I gauge myself out of 10. I give myself even 3,
right?
Because I've not achieved what I want.
So, how about the overall functioning of the National Assembly? How will you gauge that?
My functioning, I think it's been good, even though I see myself as being neutral.
Mm-hmm.
I communicate with my constituent and I represent the best interest of my country, not only what the executive want, because obviously executives they also have their KPIs,
mm-hmm.
and they want them to be passed through into Parliament, come what may.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring something, for example, these commissioners' salaries. Obviously, the executive will want to please them. As for the national interest, I don't, because I feel the monies would have had an all the best alternative.
Mm-hmm.
And I voted no. I won't hide it, I voted no. I'm not saying they don't have it, but in parliamentary issues, I think I wouldn't say I'm doing excellent, but I'm doing fine.
Oh, that's great. We are proud
I
of you.
still have some ropes to learn.
We are proud of the job that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are definitely proud of the job you're doing. If I was to ask you, is there like maybe 1 or 2 bills that you have voted yes and you voted no that are standing out? Yeah.
Age limit, I voted yes.
Okay.
Because if you look at the Declaration on Human Rights, there shouldn't be any discrimination. But my but was, I should have mentioned, that they only removed the upper age limit. Age limit is age limit. If you are old enough to vote, you are old enough to run.
Yes.
So there mustn't be any upper age limit. Likewise, no lower age limit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my only but for the age limit, I did not vote for any particular reason or any particular person, but because it defies the human rights laws. That was why. And we all know that we shouldn't discriminate against age, against gender, against religion, or against anything. It's illegal. Then we are still being illegal because there is still a lower age limit.
Yes.
But if you look at the Gambia's lower age limit, it is the lowest in the region, which is also not bad because it gives children the opportunity to develop themselves and be properly equipped to take the mantle.
That is right. So one thing that I just want to ask you, I know we are kind of running out of time, but what does the future hold for Touma Njie after 2022?
I think for that one, I will leave it for my constituent, because what I said to myself in my quiet moments, I have my targets. I need to see a different Banjul. And if I don't do that, I will not run. Because I told my people, I said, I am campaigning. I campaigned and I worked hard for it in 2017. And come 2022, I will not want to campaign. I would want the actions to speak rather than my words.
All right, that sounds great. So before I let you do your closing remarks, I just have 3 quick trivia questions that I just want to throw out to you and just pick your brain on it, okay? Okay, number 1 is what will you tell your 25-year-old self today?
A 25-year-old self?
Yes, knowing what you know now. If you were 25 years old, yes.
No, I wish I had, Farida in Togo.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had been Farida at 25 because I would have been out there fighting Yaya Jammeh, fighting for my rights.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had been her at 25.
Wow. Number two is what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
You know, when you have a strong legacy that you hold, you want to leave something bigger than that. That is why I'm doing my own. I'm not being selfish, but I'm trying to bury my father's legacy and bring up my own.
Wow. All right. Number
So I want to see at least a dozen of kids that I will see through school, through university, being there, making sure that they become something in life. That is what I want to. I don't want to be a rich person. I am against. In fact, if I was in another world, I would call myself a socialist because I don't like accumulating wealth.
Yes.
I love sharing.
That's right. You got to give back. All right. So my third and final trivia question is: who's been the most interesting person you've ever met?
I met interesting person.
Somebody who has just leave like something in you that you cannot just forget this individual. A very, very interesting person.
Last few weeks I met this Labour MP in Edinburgh, Ian Murray, and we had a nice chat. And then I'm not sure whether he was just being nice. He just said, Touma, you are the best MP in this house. And if somebody tells you that little thing, it makes you wonder why. And then I said to myself, I'm going to strive to be the best.
Wow. Well, we have no doubt that you will do your best. And we are very, very, very happy with the job that you're doing. I know you have much bigger things in your plans. And I'm just hoping that you will be given the chance to present those things out there, and hopefully it will become a success. Right now, I will just let you do your closing remarks. What is it that you want to tell to the Gambian people, to your constituents, to the young people out there listening to you? What is your message?
I think my message will be to the youths. Yes, we are all affiliated to parties, but I'm appealing to the youths to forget about parties and think national. We are all under that one umbrella, and that is the red, white, blue, white, green. Let us forget about the yellow, let us forget about the pink, about the blue, about the green. At the end of the day, we are all Gambians. Somebody like me, my dad is a Fula. My kids are Sarahuli. My mom is a Tose. So I'm a melting pot. Let us not talk tribe. Gambia is too small. So I'm appealing to them to think of the Gambia first and foremost and try to develop. I miss pre-December 1st days when we were all united. And I always wish that we go back to those moments and work hard. One thing I'm afraid of, we were united to defeat a tyrant. And if we are not united, we might lose it. That is what I want to tell everyone. We must love each other and work together.
There's a strong message right there. I hope that the folks, will let that sink in. We would just like to thank you, Honorable Njie, for taking this time to talk to us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, and we cannot wait to see some of the big things that you have for your constituents and for the Gambia as a whole. And like I said during our conversation, I think that it's not something that you are thinking about right now, but Touma Njie for president is something that you should really, really, really think about, because we need females like you. I'm a big female advocate myself, and I would love to see people like you at least compete. Whoever is going to win, that's going to be in the hands of God, but we should at least have dynamic women like you represent us and represent the Gambia. So that is something that I just wanted to put out there.
I'm really honored of you having thought of me that highly. But anyway, everything is in the name of the Almighty.
Yes.
I never thought I was going to be an MP. It never struck to my mind. Never. But then only Allah knows.
Yes.
Only the Almighty knows what is for everybody. Because Adam Abaro last year never knew, but it was written.
Yes.
That he was going to lead us.
Yes.
And inshallah, we're going to follow him and make sure that he doesn't fail.
Yes.
If Allah chooses you, obviously you are not bound to fail.
Yes.
He's humble, he's good. And for now, I'm 100% behind him.
All right. That sounds good. All right. So I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up here then. Thank you very much, Honorable Njie, for taking this time to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Sure. No problem.